bend down and touch your toes? Are you somebody that's always had tight hamstrings? If so, this video is going to be great for you. Hi, I'm Dr. Putney with Wellington Family Chiropractic, and today I want to give you 3 different variations of hamstring stretches that I show to my patients. Now, the reason why we work on hamstring flexibility is because if they get too tight, sometimes they can cause lower back pain. And when people think about hamstrings, they think about it affecting their flexibility, but they don't always think about how it can affect their low back. And this happens because a lot of people associate the hamstring with being part of the leg, but it actually attaches up into the pelvis, and it can create a tilt or change the position of the pelvis itself, which can affect the low back. So it's important to have good flexibility in the hamstrings. There's a lot of different causes as to why people are tight. I'm not going to get into all that for today's video. I just want to show you 3 different ways to really give them a good stretch. The other thing I want to show is how to do it properly, because a lot of times when my patients come in with low back pain, they'll say, I was just bending down, touching my toes, and then I couldn't stand back up. So if you do it poorly, sometimes if you're somebody that suffers from low back pain, it's a good way to flare up your low back. So when we look at hamstring stretches, let's just talk about how people tend to not isolate their hamstrings and certain things they do that can agitate their low back. So a lot of times when people bend forward, what they're doing is they get to about here and then they just round their low back and then they go down as far as they can. So they're getting a lot of movement through the low back. But if you watch my legs, they may bend, people might bend their knees, but it's a lot of upper back and lower back stretching. I'm not getting a whole lot of stretch in my hamstring. So a lot of times when people are trying to bend forward and touch their toes, there's a lot of spinal movement, but we're not really zeroing in on putting the tension on the hamstrings. So a great way to do that is to just put your foot up on a raised surface. So this is a platform we use for rehab in the office. It's probably 10 inches off the ground. There's a lot of little things around your desk or at home. Put them on a step. You just need to have it slightly elevated for this version of it. You're going to keep that leg straight. We're going to be stretching this right hamstring. The thing you want to do is keep your spine neutral. So as I go forward, I can grab my toe, but that's not that great of a stretch. And look how rounded my low back is. What I want you to do is keep your low back neutral as you bend forward. Now, I get to here as compared to before, and I'm already getting really, really tight in my hamstring. I'm getting a big pull all the way down into my calf. So there, and I would hold for 10 seconds and relax. And you could do this 5 or 6 times with those 10-second holds. Again, we're keeping the spine neutral. My torso should stay relatively straight. And my heel is just touching the ground with my toe up. That's how I have people do that stretch. Remember, we're not rounding. I like that one because you can do it anywhere. And to me, it feels like it puts a big pull on the hamstring and you're not feeling that tension in your low back or anywhere else. So what I'm going to show you next is one you can do in a chair. So we're going to go from standing to sitting, and then from sitting to lying on the ground. Okay, so for our next hamstring stretch, I'm going to show you a variation that you can do, and you just need 2 chairs or just basically 2 surfaces, and you're going to be stretching one hamstring at a time. So the key here again is not to slouch in the chair as you're doing the stretch, thinking you're really flexible because you're touching your toe, but your back's completely bent over. What we want to do again is sit up as tall as possible, straight spine, and then think about taking the chest straight forward as we pull there. And I get a huge stretch in the back of my hamstring. I don't even have to move that much if I'm upright versus if I'm slouched. There's a lot of movement here, but not that much tension on the hamstring. Pull the spine into a neutral position, chest high. Take the chest forward and a big stretch, keeping the leg straight. Again, you can do this, 30-second holds 4 times, so a total of 2 minutes on each side. If you do that once or twice a day, that can really help to loosen up your hamstrings. Okay, guys, so we're going to go over our 3rd variation of the hamstring stretch. This is called the doorway stretch, and you will perform it in a lying position. So I give this to a lot of my patients, again, because it seems to zero in on the hamstring while sparing the low back and different spinal movements during the stretch. So all you need for this one is a doorway. And what you're going to do is you're going to slide one leg into the doorway and prop the other one up on the doorway. until you feel like you're at your maximum stretch. Now from here, what I want to do is take my heel and push it into the wall for 7 seconds and then relax. And as I'm relaxed, I'm going to go a little further. And now I've got a little more range of stretch for the hamstring. I'm going to hold that for 15 to 20 seconds and then push for 7. And then again, slide my butt closer to the door frame. And you want to do that 3 times, or 3 cycles of that contraction and relaxing. And you typically want to do about 2 sets of that, where you want to do it twice a day. So there you have it. You have one in lying, you have one standing, and one seated. All 3 variations should help target the hamstring, limit your risk of your lower back flaring up while stretching your legs, and hopefully help you gain some flexibility. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us, 859-309-1996, or reach out at wellchiropractic.com. Hope you all have a great day.